Really, this video is about 3 different topics in one, but they're so closely knit that I thought that I can wrap it up into one video. How to set up and perform electronic music live like a pro and get gigs along the way. That is today's video. Are you ready? Let's go do it right now. Today I'm talking about both setting yourself up mentally and practically to get gigs. And much like my ABC structure, if you follow these videos, you'll know about it. It all works in tandem. Once you do these things, everything will lead into you getting noticed and get gigs along the way. More or better gigs. But before we wedge into it, be sure to click subscribe if you haven't done so already. Hit that like button to not miss any new videos when they get uploaded. And if you find value in this content, let it know in the comment section below, or sign up to Patreon and Discord so you'll get exclusive content, samples and remix contests. First of all, try to determine what kind of an artist you are going to be. Most people buy stuff and jam on it. It's cool. And if you're just a musician who wants to noodle, then that is all cool. I'm not going to hate on that. If you, however, have told yourself this is going to be a profession, I would love to make money with this at some point, then it's very good to start immediately by identifying who you are as an artist. What is the sound you would like to make? Did you frequent events? Did you hear DJs that you like? So you'll narrow it down. You'll funnel it into this. This is the sound that I like. That is the sound that's being created. That might be the synth that can make that kind of sound. You'll need a sampler of some sort or a groove box of some sort, and you'll need maybe 2 synths. I would opt to go with a monophonic or paraphonic synth, and I would go for a polyphonic synth. So one will play chords, one will play lead lines, and the drums will come from your drum box. Very easily to manage and very cool to do it. Once you master those things, you'll start and work on creating your performance. In my case, I'll work with the MPC. Within the MPC, I sometimes stick drums, or at least I collect all the MIDI data. It's very important to understand that that thing needs to be the boss. It's the conductor of your orchestra. All the while you're keeping in mind, if I'm performing, how does my track sound as opposed to something else? You have an advantage that the regular USB DJs don't have. You get to determine what happens at any given time in your performance. So much like a guitarist, drummers, saxophonist, you get to just like change the vibe of the room if need be. And that is something promoters love. They love for you to be very interactive with the crowd, the clientele that they have put together. They've done a hard, long job of getting their party to be successful, getting all those boots on the ground. So if you're performing and you show that you know exactly how to have them eat out of the palm of your hand, which is what you can do if your music is interactive and speaks to a lot of people, they're probably going to book you. The sound quality is second. Most analog live sets, if you level it well and you stick time into meticulously looking for what kind of sound goes where, but how are the sounds related to one another, it's another thing that is very, very important. And once you start to build your set, work meticulously on how, what does what, when. When you play USBs or you play vinyl even, what happens when you hit the song into the room is what happens. You're pretty much hanging on for dear life, and pray to God you made the right decision. That anxiety goes away after years of experience, but it's still a nerve-wracking kind of vibe to pinpoint what the crowd would love at a given time. Even though they're dancing, you might not even know if they're zoned out, clued out, or if they are ready to just hit the bar or hit another room where some other DJ is playing. So how do you extend the listener's attention? This is something that I've learned when I worked for radio. The one thing that we were always concerned about was how can we get our listener to listen longer without them realizing they're actually being tricked into listening longer. This longevity in their attention span, there are so many tricks on how you can do it verbally, vocally. And how are you going to do this when you are communicating through music? It's easier than you think. You have to also chunk this up in big frequencies first and just build it up like a pyramid. So I opt to go for the bass and the drums because that is something that people can dance to. It's the bare basics of any dance track. It's what feeds the room. It's how you get a sense of the sound system. It's very important to start there. That's how you're going to do it. And don't move on to the next segment, beats. Are that done? Cool, stick a bass line on it. Is that done? Then you can stick a lead on it. It sounds easy enough, but it's harder than you might think. A lot of people are impatient. I understand it. You spend a lot of money, you've been around. Most people that watch my channel have been around for 4 or 5 years. You start to get a few gigs left and right, but then all of a sudden, why doesn't it go faster? What is this brick wall that I'm running into? It's most of the time being impatient, or having started to read the book at chapter 5. This is what a lot of people do. They skip the beginning and they'll just go head first into, I can perform, I've been around. This is how I tell you that it was going to work for you. If you want to get better gigs, get better at your performance. You want to get better at your performance, make better music. You want to make better music? Look at the ingredients needed to make that happen. Now, today is going to be an example. This is how I work my sound. It has been working for me for a long time. I guarantee you, if you follow those steps, it will work for you as well. Without further ado, let's head over to my live set and let's see what the culprits are today. Who is going to help me out, what synths I have, and let's go do it. You ready? Let's go. One of the most important things is to quickly figure out what kind of a sound you would like to make. It's very important to just like look for synths that can do whatever you have in your head and work your way up from there. I've got a subsequent 37 that I use for leads and for bass. Then there is the Korg Minilogue XD, very important synthesizer for me because I can make whatever kind of sound I would want on it. And then I've got an Akai MPC Live. That basically is the basics. I can add more gear to it, but more gear will make it a little bit more complicated. So for now, for what this is, it's perfect. I also work with the Octatrack, I also work with the 1010 Black Box, but this is more advanced stuff. If you just want to get going, I think this is going to pretty much be it. Now, to figure out what your sound is going to be, if you like to look at this from a professional point of view, it means that you have to just like dive into certain sounds that you would like to make. Would you like to make melodic techno? Would you like to make techno? Would you like to make retro kind of vibes? I'm going to go into a retro kind of flavor. I've got this sequential tom drum computer set up here. So and the rule of thumb for me is that I would love to cross over stuff. So the sequential tom did a lot of that electro funk kind of vibe. Can I make techno with it? I don't know. Is it suitable for techno? Probably not. So that immediately gives me the incentive to think like, oh, maybe that could work. Now, I have got a few things lined up when I play in a solo. This is the kick. Next track is the snare. There is a hi-hat of some sorts, which I think I am going to name hi-hat. I'm going to go in because this is a close hat. Yeah, okay, so there's something here. Let's erase it, take it out. I'm going to take it out completely. There it goes. Bam, 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 bam. Because we're going to re-record this, so making sure that there's nothing playing anymore. There's nothing playing anymore. Cool. And we're going to go into, because now everything's playing here. So I'm going to take out the 16th here, erase, and rename it also. So I'm going to rename this one. Why is there a clap play? Ah, there's a clap play here. Bam, that was gone. No, that's over here. Go, and there's another one. Here, go. So cool. Also gonna stop it quick fast. These are the drums, by the way. And you might wonder why is this orange, because now it is on, even though it says full level, it's on half level. So it's 50% of the initial velocity that could be played. So when I hit it, you see that it's illuminated, and when I hit it again, there's nothing there. So this is just a dual concentric knob, if you will. So full level means no matter how hard or soft I'm pressing the knobs, it's always going to come out full blast, which is what I do for my kick drum. So when I'm going to the kick drum, you can see when I go in, all of them are red. You can see that the notes are red on the grid. But if I'm going to a different track here, onto the hi-hat, you can see that where there's nothing playing here. Track 5 here, this is orange, which means it resembles the double clicking here on the half level or full level. So cool. As a side note. Now, I've got the sequential drum computer sitting here. I love it because it gives me some sort of an old school kind of vibe. I love it, so I'm going to just use it for this. Let's see what we can do with the head right here, because I would like to also double click it and see. I'm gonna roll it there, so I'm gonna go here where it says head and take solo off. I see there's nothing there. I'm gonna play it from start. Overdub is on, note repeat, and I go. So, I've recorded it. I'm going to take overdub off immediately. Then I'm going to go to this I don't get. There's a clap here. Yep, I get it. So I'm going to rename this clap. C-L-A-P, do it. And then this one is going to be OHH, which stands for open hi-hat. And I'm going to take it out because I want to make it less housey, a little more straightforward, right? Which means I'm going to erase. And I'm going to replay it again and do something with the envelopes as well. Boom, all are gone. You know, I'm going to leave it for this because I don't really need it right now. As you can hear, there's a clap playing every other beat. Bam. So you see it here. Plays, bam, plays, not, plays here, not here. So it's doubling up with the snare drum. Cool. Now, this is all nice and good. Let's go in and go for the pad mixer. So everything you're hearing right now can be mixed as well. The kick is on 0 dBs. This is a little bit on the loud side, even though I put it on half level, so I think I will lower it a bit. Yeah. Same goes for the clap. And the rule of thumb to level this out is when it's playing louder, it pushes the clap to the background. It pushes the snare to the background, I should say, and now it does not. So, nice. The snare, I'll lower it a bit. To select everything, you can just hit the pad and you see it jump into where you need to go. Nice. So I've got my drum sitting. Now I think it's time to just look at a bass line. So I'm going to go and create a track. I will take it and make it into a MIDI track. I know that this is on channel 9. So, and I know that there's nothing playing right now. Let's find it here. Nice. Now what I will do is I'll find a sound. Now this is to set myself up. Why do I set myself up this sparsely? I think on what do I want out of a track. What does a record label want to hear? What does a promoter want to hear? And if I'm performing, can I stay within my own boundaries? Because it's nice to just jam and do my stuff. But in order for people to have some sort of an interest in what I'm doing, I think the best thing is to not go overboard with noodling around. If that is not the case on stage, if you find yourself with a blissed out crowd that's really there to see you perform and hear you do whatever it is that you do, then no problem. Most of the time, some people would like to book some sort of a concept. So if you can bring that and perform that, then it's easier to get gigs. This starts when you start to make music. So this starts with the selection of your tracks, with the leveling of the sounds, hence me telling you on how to set that up. Now, I will go for some sort of a 16th bass line, because I think that if I'm going to go for a straight bass line, it's easier to make something that a lot of people might perceive as something that they would already have heard before, even though it's a new track. So I don't want to go try and to reinvent the wheel. I'm trying to just like make sure that I'm looking for things that might give me a sense of recognition and give the crowd a sense of recognition, because also the performance that might derive from what I'm doing needs to be convincing. And if I can convince myself, I'm sure as I'll convinced that I can convince you as well. So that's a little bit of the back story. This one is connected to the Strymon Black Sky that I got sitting right here, which means that we're going to go scrolling through presets here. Turn off the reverb a bit. Ooh, nice one. Good work. See what we can do. Take out a little bit of that reverb. Play around with the envelopes. So I'm going to go short decay, a short attack. I'm going to open up the decay so that if I'm pressing a note, I'm holding the note is not going to die out. So it's going to stay there for as long as I'm holding the note, is what I want. And I need to make sure that the filter does the same, otherwise it goes. Feel so. So the envelope for the filter does something else. We'll get to that in a second. Very strong thing there as well. Boom. Take out the envelope generation a bit, so it doesn't do it. Okay. Record it. Okay, funny. Usually it doesn't really go that fast. I'm liking it, so I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna go and save this preset as it is now, because I don't want to every time when I start and stop the Akai that this is going to reset itself, right? So I'm gonna go in, press it once, save to accept. Yep, there you go. Look at the sound a little bit, because I think this is nice, but it can be enhanced a little bit. So, let's turn everything off. No noise, nothing, like external feedback. So now, pretty much, I play the first oscillator, which is the higher one. See what I have? Yeah, and I'm gonna lower it, and I'm going to look at the waveform. Square, saw. I'm gonna go for a saw because this will work on my filter, as you can hear. I'm gonna put a sub oscillator there. You can hear it? Yep. Nice. Now the third oscillator, or second oscillator, to be honest. The second oscillator, the stop as an oscillator, so going to stick this in between, so it's 12 o'clock, so it's in between a saw and a square. Leaning a little bit towards the square, so it will be audible some more. You can hear it fold almost. Nice. Right? Okay. Yeah, I'm liking that. So, save it again. Now, some envelope generation, because I want the filter to also have a say about the attack, because it's pretty low at the minute. So what we want is look at the envelopes and get the decay to do something on the duration of the sound, because this sounds absolutely amazing on a live setup, and it doesn't really take much to get there. And this works if the notes are not being legatoed. So I'm going to go in and play around with the length of the notes, take out the drums. So I hate inconsistency with my sound, so I'm going to add at the end. All the notes need to have their own attacks, so that I'm in control of the envelopes instead of the Akai being in control. So yep, a little gap there. This way you can also create accents. Nice. Now we can look at the envelope generation a little bit better. If I put up some resonance, you'll hear it better. More decay means the sound is going to decay slower. Yeah, that's what I want. So now I'm going to lower the resonance a bit. Nice, okay, love this sound now. So we got to somewhere, right? We've enhanced the sound. Let's look at the reverb a bit. Currently I'm on a room. I'm on the modulation mode. And then the same thing, preamp delay is a little bit open and the high damp is on 1 o'clock, so this works. If I exaggerate it, it sounds like this. And the thing with this Black Sky is you don't want to exaggerate it, right? Your reverbs need to be smoothed out a little bit. Cool. Enough. Let's move on. Now on this bad boy over here, my Minilogue XT, I have created some sort of a, Artbat sound. See, so we got that familiar sort of like sound at the moment. What I would like to do though, I'm going to alter this bass line in a second. Let's lower it. Turn down the envelope generation amount a little bit. Nice. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to find that MIDI channel, which I think is 13. So let's go for a different, this is my subsequent, let's go sub. Okay, do it. Now another channel. Gonna go in, gonna look for Minilogue XD sound, that's what we want. Go for the MIDI channel. I think it was 12. Yep, it was 12. Now, a lot of people are asking me, why are you playing your synthesizer from the Akai MPC Live and not play it from the keyboard? Because you can see clearly if I'm playing something here, also the notes are being registered. So you can easily put it on record and just play it. Now you have to understand, when I play on the Akai MPC, this doesn't resemble a keyboard to me, and it means I'm gonna come up with different patterns which are a little bit more electronic dance music like, rather than me playing more of a music school educated kind of vibe. And that's what you would want. I would like to limit myself within what I would want to play, right? So that's why I sometimes play it here and sometimes play it here. If I'm playing chords, obviously this might not be the most easy way to do it. That's when I obviously, but for this, yeah, it can work. So let's see if we can come up with something semi-intelligent. Maybe. No, there's no, I don't know. This needs to go half up. Transpose. Yeah. This needs to be nudged. No, I'm not gonna go for a major chord, but for a minor chord, which means I'm gonna go for transpose. Up it. There we go. Missing one more note. This one's gonna go. Yeah. Now I can use the filter. Play around with it. Nice. And I start with something that I think, okay, this could be maybe a mellowed out kind of track. It can be a little bit more aggressive if I use some more aggression. It can be something different. Also, keep in mind, this is where a lot of DAWless producers make a mistake. The intensity of the track has nothing to do with the sort of music you're making. It's all got to do with the levels of where you are. If I'm turning up my drum levels, the track will become considerably more aggressive. If I'm using noise on the sounds a little bit more, take out the drums, listen to this. You understand that you can get into Guns N' Never Town pretty fast if you just know what you're doing. So gradually, I'm doing this within 30 seconds, obviously, but when I'm performing and I see that I need more adrenaline, I can just do it that way. So this means that if you do this, people are going to take notice, but it's something that the regular USB DJ can't do. He has to make a switch from one style to the next, or one sound to the next, or needs to be savvy and bring some sort of gear to add that impact to it. This is a plus if you're performing live, and this is how you can set yourself up to, when you're performing, to go from maybe 11 o'clock at night to 2 o'clock in the morning within 15 minutes, you know what I mean? That kind of feeling that is stuck to the different time frames of the performance of the nighttime if you have an event. Now, obviously this was sounding like caca, but you can understand where I am coming from. Loving this sound, loving this synth, by the way. You can hear Reverb, it just goes off at LFO, so okay. And another thing to really make your track a little bit more sophisticated is when you would look at an arpeggio of some sort. Now, for these type of B category sounds, I'm not using expensive synthesizers to do it. You can if you have them, but within the Akai, it's absolutely perfect to use plugins for that. Now, track 12 is the Minilogue XD. Let's just do a little bit of organizing. So we say XD here, do it. You can go the other way around as well. The leads here were very easy to create. So I looked at an Artbat track, made the sound accordingly, and then I was there within, say, maybe 15 minutes. So that's what I love about this. You can do it with this as well. But mind you though, everyone is using the Subsequent 37 for that type of sound. I think even Artbat are using that synth for that. So it's cool if you want to be the same. I'd like to be in a ballpark and I'd like to switch it up. So now this plays leads, this plays bass, you can switch it around in another track and be versatile within what you're doing. Try to get bang for your buck though when you're performing, so you need to get the most out of the sound, is what I just showed you. So can you add layers to the sound to enhance the sound? Because this is how you can get your performance to just like do something that a lot of people can't do or don't expect, and it's all to do with building an attention span. It's just or getting the attention and then seeing if you can just lengthen the attention span of people that are listening to you. So the longer you can stick within this sort of like bracket, the better it is even. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to find another track, maybe on here. Tube synth. No! Very. That sound is just the worst in the world, isn't it? I understand why they stuck it in there, but no. So we're going to go for the hype synth, because new program. It's got some cool sounds, but it also got some trancy sounds. Default, I'm going to go for some blocks maybe. Let's see if I can find something. Synth big. Block hard, block light, let's see what they have. Super block. Yeah, I'm lucky that it's not as loud as hell. Oh my heavens. Okay, so I will go in, because I know it's a C minor chord, but what I will do is I'll go into the pad performers, I'll go to my chords, I'll stick this on C, play the track. Cool, I'm gonna go for C minor because major chords happy, minor chords sad. I like to just invoke a little bit of emotion, so I'll go with the sad emotion. And even though the chords are sad, you can still play happy things with it. So let's go for happy tears, shall we? Minor chords, maybe I can go for a minor chord minor 7th chord. A minor 7th chord, so there's the 7th note there. And then if I'm going to stick the note repeat on, I don't want to stand in like forever, so you put on shift and then see how this works. just record something, right? Go in like, oh, record. And now for a better sound, obviously. I think I'm liking the second part better. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to edit. I can replay it, but I'm going to just like copy this whole thing. So the first one, not so sure that I'm going to use that. So I'm going to shift, cut. That's gone. Then I'm going to play the arpeggio and see what we have. Play the bass line. Oh, crackling. What's not to like here, right? What's not to like here, right? Now you can build it out. Now, as I said, this is just a static kind of loop. I make a loop first because I want to jam. There's a few things. When you sit behind a computer, most of the time, you will just like go way past everything that I've done right now. I really have to meticulously look at the sounds and what I'm using. I did a bit of sound design here. I've already did some sound design here, but basically I will overcome writer's block as well because I look at things from a very sort of like rigid kind of perspective. So of course making music is getting into a vibe, but if you don't have that vibe or you are pressed for time, it can be tedious to just force yourself to just come up with something. For one, it's not cool because it takes the fun out of making music, and it makes music, apart from some of us trying to make money with it, you also will always also need to have it be fun. So I'm using projects or some sort of a themes most of the time. So now the drums sequential tom, can I make something with it? Why? Because I have to tell myself, if I don't feel it, there's so many great records that have been made with that drum computer. Who am I to think that that I can't do it then? You know what I mean? So obviously that is the drums there. So I'm looking at it from that point of view. How would Roger Lynn do it back in the days with his Lynn drum? How would somebody do it with an 808? Think on that perspective. So you'll come up with a concept there. Drums done means moving on. Bass line. You find your bass sound, you just think like, what do I need from the bass? Do I want it to just like be everywhere? Does it just need to support the track? Does it need to do something in the room? And mind you, when you get to a big sound system, it will just get inflated. So the more you do and the more you try to just like be this thing, stick on the wall of every museum in the world, probably not. It just only needs to just like kick a little bit of butt, be thick and fat in the bottom, have the filter just do an impact, and everybody just sees you doing that. Even from the back of the room, you open up the filter and go, people like that. People love that kind of vibe. The leads need to be there, and this, whenever you play, needs to be something that somebody can sing along to, or at least have it on their mind the next day when they wake up, that they recognize the track. I think that this, bam, 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 this, boom, bam, 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 boom. This is going to be an ever evolving loop because the notes are not very predictable, but after a while it becomes apparent where they are and where they're not playing. And if you want to be groovy or you want to do something, keep in mind that groove most of the time is not the notes being played, but the space in between the notes is where you can lay the emphasis of what plays where. Any drummer, any guitarist is determined by his groove. It's not the way they play stuff, it's the way they lay down the notes, and certain notes are late, certain notes are early, something does, you know, that's how it works. That's what you can embed also. Even though you're working with a 16 or whatever step sequencer, it will still be something that you might look into. Now, this is my take on it. Go and try it out. Francesc, Xavier, Pamis, Elias, and Based Carbon are my new patrons for this week. Thanks for supporting. Welcome aboard. You have joined one of the fastest growing communities in the synth community here on the internet. So thank you for being here. Also, I love for everybody that joined up at the channel, because there's channel memberships as well. Thank you ever so much. That's how I do it. That's how I work my live set. That's how I'm thinking on things. And if you've noticed, there is always a bridge in between what you do, what you want, and how you are going to look at it. Another thing that's very important why these videos are set up the way they are, this threefold. I think when I'm performing or if I'm giving you the information, there's three things. There's a lead way up to maybe the performance, so that's one. Then there is the performance, and then there are the after sales. So in getting to the performance, I'm already thinking, what do I want to do? How do I want to perform? What is it that I think I need from the crowd, and what do I want the crowd that they can get from me? Then, after the performance, it's what are people going to remember from last night after they've been to one of my events or one of my performances? How are they going to still recognize what I've done? Because I don't want to do all that work and it be for nothing, you know what I mean? So it has to be something you think on. A lot of people just jam, but you can't leave it up to luck. If you want to make money with this thing, you have to really think on it long and hard on how does this work? How can I metabolize this thing? How can I create worth out of my talent? Hard enough. So working with your friends, it's cool, but your friends don't expect you to charge them for anything. So it's always cool to think on, okay, where do I draw the line in what is cool and what's actually earning me some money? And, you know, get people into your process. You know, that's the way you set yourself up. If you think you are a giant, walk with giants. Yeah, it'll be cool to jump in the pool and say like, yo, look at us, we're all like, walk with giants. If you think you can fly, go fly. That's how you need to do it. And from the minute that's your attitude, that's your mindset, you'll see that people will adapt to that. Because promoters and club owners, they book winners, or at least they book people of which they think they can win, because also their investment needs to come back. They need to make sure that whatever it is that they are doing, you're doing as well. Now, that's my preach mode off. Thank you for watching. I'm Analog Kitchen. You'll catch me every Friday night at 10 o'clock European time, Standard European time. If you've got any suggestions or you want to talk shop, don't be a stranger. If you made it this far into the video, you're an absolute superstar, I'll tell you that. And I guess I'll catch you next week. You know where. Same channel, same time, same place is what I'm going to say. Right here. Analog Kitchen out.